Hello, and Happy New Year, and welcome to a new episode of Ramblings from Two Meddling Kids. I'm Edward Hunt, hosting with
Mike Cunningham.
and we are the Meddling Kids. And today we're going to be reviewing Four Rooms. Since it's the new year and this movie is set on New Year's Eve, we thought, hey, what a fun way to bring in the new year with an anthology movie of sorts. And yeah, it's definitely a movie.
Shot on film.
Yeah. For those of you joining us for the first time, or if you'd like a quick reminder, what we do is we give you a spoiler-free review. We're not going to tell you what happens in the movie. We're not going to spoil anything. We're going to give you a scale of 0 to 5 just to let you know, hey, what do we think of the movie? If you haven't seen this movie, great. Take this review, maybe go see it, then make sure you come back, and then we'll actually give you a play-by-play and then just go through the movie. Mike, you ready to get started?
Yep.
All right, go for it. Spoiler for review. What do we got?
Spoiler for review. So it's interesting. This Four Rooms. What I love about watching stuff from like older Hollywood or whatever it is seeing its impact on modern time.
Sure. Yeah.
So like this anthology. Obviously, it's been anthology has been done like always, but it was just like it's interesting watching this and then seeing specks of it in current things.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Family Guy did it with like I think the Four Directors or something like that.
Oh, right.
Very similar.
Yeah.
It was just like it was one story, but they shot it from different. So it was like Tarantino, Wes Anderson, Michael Bay, or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
they all did it that way.
Jerry Bruckheimer, whatever it is. But it was just like telling one story from the different perspectives of different directors. So like I think that was cool. I think you definitely saw. Like we were just talking. Like it's the height of both Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez.
Sure.
I think shortly after they would work on something together. Damn, I can't remember.
Yeah, no,
I can't remember the name of the movie.
Yeah. Here, I'm just going to pause you really quick.
Yeah.
So for those, if you don't know what Four Rooms is, as Mike said, it's an anthology-style movie. It all takes place in one hotel with our conduit character there, Tim Roth. And he's going through as the bellhop, but there are 4 different rooms in this hotel on New Year's, and there's a different story that's directed by a different director for each room. Just, very different than your traditional Hollywood movie, in case you don't know.
So, I didn't give it a rating. So I appreciated seeing the different styles from the different directors. They all had their different quirks and everything like that. I would give it a 2.
Okay.
I think I really, truly enjoyed Tim Roth's character.
Okay.
Because once again, I didn't meet him until later in life. And seeing, obviously he's an amazing actor, but I met him later in life. So seeing him kind of play this like quirky character, like kind of dim-witted, but like young, and like he gave me like Ernest from the Ernest Goes to School series and stuff like Hey Burn and all that bullshit. He gave me very much like that. So it was like really nice to see him as a young actor. Yeah. Because I hadn't seen, outside of like your Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, which I saw later in life, I hadn't really seen him.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff. Yeah. But those 2 movies where I really know him.
So I think he really shines in this, but he was also like a bit too dim-witted at times. It was frustrating. Once again, the earnest of it all. Yeah. It was very much like, okay, nobody's that dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it was interesting the way they tried to tie the stories together without really making it doing like a crash, where like everything had to, everything had to mesh. Well, so I thought that was cool. But like, the stories were meh. I feel like they could have taken more time to tell this. It was very much like an SNL sketch.
Yes. Each one's a long sketch.
Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was cool, but I think Tim Roth really shines. But outside of that, it's kind of underwhelming in a way. I think the cast, the people they got at the time, Jennifer Beals, like I said, Tim Roth, Tarantino, obviously casting Tarantino as he does.
Well, he's the director; he can cast whoever he wants.
Frustrating as shit. Like I said, I realized it was right after Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. He's slapping his own face in there like a jackass. A lot of talking from him, and it was very much similar to the scene from both Pulp Fiction. With him and the with the injection. Okay, yes. And then the opening scene, the diner scene from Reservoir Dogs, where he was just yapping.
Yeah, for sure. It's called a monologue, sir. It's art. It's high art is what that is.
But yeah, so all in all, I'll give it a 2. Tim Roth shines. The stories were fine, but they kind of like they come and go. Yeah. The acting was fine. I think they knew what they were all in, so it was just like it wasn't like over or underacted. There was some funny comedic bits, especially with Marissa Tomei's character, which was interesting. But yeah, so just fine.
Yeah.
I definitely, I guess, give it a look.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say don't watch it. But
Yeah, I feel the same. Actually, I was thinking too, like the first half of the movie, I didn't really care for it. So there's 4 stories. I'm not going to tell you, but the first 2 stories,
but they're also from the directors that I didn't know well.
yeah.
From the Allison Anders and Alexander Rockwell.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and it was like even looking up what they had done, never heard of it.
Yeah.
So around that time,
I don't think they've done even
afterwards.
Rockwell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like afterwards, not much. So at that time, Anders had done this thing called Gas, Food, and Lodging or something like that.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
Yep.
It was around like 94 or 92. And then the guy, Rockwell, had done In the Soup and Somebody to Love.
Okay.
And I only recognize Somebody to Love because I think, what's her name? God damn it, Mookie.
I have no idea.
it's gonna plague me, but it was like a notable actress at the time from In Living Color and from Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Okay,
can't remember her name, something with an R.
Yeah,
but yeah, so they hadn't done much, so that's why you could tell like their stories were interesting, I guess, but like they kind of just fell by the wayside.
I think, and they weren't executed very well. I feel for those first 2, they were kind of sporadic, a little all over the place. I think Tim Roth settled into the movie very well, but I think especially in those first 2 roles, he was, man, I thought he was like kind of tweaking out on something a little bit. He was like twitching all the time, and I was like, little much. And then like later on when we get to it, there's a time where he like settles down, he's on the phone, I'm like, there he is, there's that phenomenal actor who did a great job. So the first 2 shorts, meh. Third and fourth shorts, I like those more. I like those a lot more.
I think also it's the fact that the first 2, especially the first one, was, I guess, star-studded. I didn't know all of those women.
Yeah. Madonna,
obviously. Yeah. But I think it was like at the time, like Ione Skye, I believe her name is. Like she was like she had her breakout role in something.
Yeah.
Around. So I think it was leaning on the celebrity of it all. Like because obviously it's an ensemble cast, but like that one especially had the most characters. So I think they were kind of, that story was leaning into that. The second one, only 2 characters, but it was just like they were big actors at the time as well. Yeah, and that one was kind of confusing.
It was all over the place. My big note for that second one is what the fuck. I was just like, what is going on right now?
But it was like, I guess I didn't recognize it. Was, I think they should have split up Tarantino and what's his name, Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah, like put Rodriguez earlier because like having Tarantino, that was my favorite. Like Tarantino short at the end was my favorite of the 4, and it was a great way to end the movie. But with the lead up to that, that's why I give it a 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 5. Interesting at times, interesting concept. They kind of try to tie everything together. I like a good anthology series when the overarching story is tied together well. Yeah. They kind of flubbed it on this, in my opinion. There's like a couple calls like, okay, cool. She's calling that from that one scene.
They did try it. I think it was like very few. It was subtle.
There were like 2 or 3
outside
things.
of the one character from the third going into the
second to the fourth.
Yeah. Outside of that, and then it was very, very subtle.
It was,
or like mentions or whatever, but not too much in the crossover.
Yeah, and I don't think it was handled that great. But either way, 2 out of 5. Interesting. Would I see it again? Maybe. At least I'm also biased. I love the 4th story. I'll talk about it more. It's based on a short story by Roald Dahl.
Yes.
Love that. I love Roald Dahl. He's a phenomenal author. But yeah, so would I see it again? Definitely that 4th one and the 3rd one potentially. The first half, I think it's kind of hit or miss, and it's a little interesting. But hey,
at least it was quick though. I will say that each one, like the Tarantino, seemed very long-winded because it was so much exposition. But the first 2 kind of just went by with a breeze, which can hurt or help you.
Yeah, exactly. Because runtime was what in this?
The hour and 38 minutes.
So pretty short, quick movie, and then hour and 38. Divide that by 4 with some interspersed scenes with Tim Roth in it. Solid. So should you see it? Check it out. I think, check it out, and then you tell us what you think. Now, before we hop into some more background in our play-by-play, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. Just Be. I am the Just Be team, or I am one of the members of the Just Be team. We are real estate agents here in the DMV. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, we got you. We also work with Compass, is our brokerage, and they are a nationwide brokerage, and they are absolutely phenomenal. And if you don't even live in the DMV but still need to buy or sell a home, feel free to reach out to me, and I will connect you with a phenomenal agent no matter where you are in the United States. Also, just a quick sneak peek. I'll probably mention at the end. I'm working on a comic. I have my artist. I'll be leaking stuff out periodically. I'm very excited to let everyone see, but I think it's good, but I'm biased. So, all right, let's get some background on this movie, Mike. What do you think?
Okay, Four Rooms is, like you said, we've said it several times, the anthology series. There's 4 different directors. You have Allison Anders, Andre Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino. Each one of them wrote and directed a separate story. It's starring throughout the different, and we don't have to like say which ones they were a part of, but Tim Roth, Jennifer Beals, Sammy Davis, who had to look who the hell that was. Madonna, Ione Skye, Lily Taylor, Marissa Tomei, Kathy Griffin, Bruce Willis,
who's uncredited.
Uncredited.
Yes.
I was looking into this. Apparently, it had something to do with the SAG.
Yes.
But I was reading it and it was saying like he had violated the rules because he couldn't have a speaking role or something like that.
So I looked into it as well. With Bruce Willis, he didn't get paid for his role. He did it as a favor to Quentin Tarantino because he thought it would be fun. However, since he did this but was not paid, and he had such a prominent role, it violated SAG.
There also was the other way.
So they were going to like fine him and make it a whole big thing. But then how it worked out was they just said, Bruce was like, I won't be credited for the movie. And they're like, all right, that's fine then. And then that's how it works out. But yeah, SAG was like, no. But they figured it out afterwards.
Also, Salma Hayek was in it as the dancer on the TV.
Because
it's very, I don't know if, From Dusk Till Dawn, that's what they did afterwards.
Got you. Yeah.
So it was like I guess they were shooting that around the same time. Because I feel like she was wearing the same exact costume.
She might have been. Yeah, they reused. Smart. That's called economics.
And Alicia Witt, she's been in stuff that I've seen like recently. But yeah, so a huge cat.
Yes.
Like not necessarily huge, maybe like 20, something like that.
Because each besides Tim Roth, each story has different characters or different actors. Except for once, she has a little bit of a crossover.
Yeah, Jennifer Beals.
Yes.
But yeah, so the tagline of this movie is a new comedy, compliments of the house. Like we said, the runtime is an hour and 38 minutes. It was released on Christmas Day in 1995.
Okay, they were ready for New Year's. They were like, "Hey, check this movie out."
Which is dope.
Yeah,
there's nothing like having a Halloween movie that comes out in April.
Yeah, exactly. You're saying that doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
the budget was $4 million, and it made about $4 million. So, but I think this seemed like a throwaway, just a fun between fellow directors and actors and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I think it was between while the Tarantino and Rodriguez were shooting From Dusk Till Dawn, maybe something like that. The Rotten Tomatoes score is a 13, and the audience score is a 69. So I think it might be one of those things where, like you said, especially fans of Tarantino, especially because he only has a very limited, filmography.
Yes,
so it's like, and especially at that time, like you saw his different work, so it's like anything that he's a part of, you want to support. So. Maybe that's why the audience score is a bit higher than the.
It ends on a good note. Yeah, it ends on
and that's all Tarantino,
chaotic, and that's all Tarantino. Where you can be walking in this movie and you're like, I don't really know how I'm feeling about it, and then that last one, and you're like, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Especially because it was so much talking, and then to get to what it was, it was just like real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like kind of the background. A quick summary is just like a new bellhop, Ted. Has no idea what he's in store for. As he's working at a Hollywood hotel on New Year's Eve.
Sure.
That's kind of the full, quick summary, if you will.
For sure. Well, let's hop into the actual summary. All right. What do we got? What do we see?
So we open up. Its title card says New Year's Eve at Hotel Monsignor.
Yep.
And you have voiceover from an old man who is the old bellhop.
Yeah.
Who is, I guess, training or giving some backstory to the new bellhop, who is Ted.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's like, telling stories about how terrible his job
is. He's an old man. How is he still been moving around for this job?
So you see like shots of his room because but the bellhop has quarters in the hotel where they stay.
Rest. Yeah.
So there's like pictures, and you see kind of his history in the hotel. He's telling stories. Real bitter about it. Hates the hat. Hates the hates the people. And I think gives him the kind of the 411 about the building, and then he tells him the last thing he says, keep your
dick in your pants. Keep your dick in your pants, kids. All right, wise words from this bellhop.
Foreshadowing.
And also a little bit of foreshadow there.
And then it's really cool because they have this opening credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to like I was reading like the Pink Panther.
Oh,
I never watched the original.
Yeah,
Pink
the
Panther.
animation going on. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was really cool, kind of showing you, I guess, giving you a hint of what'll happen throughout the film, and Tim kind of navigating his night. And then the next title card shows up, and we get the first room, which is the honeymoon suite.
Yes.
And this is titled The Missing Ingredient.
Yes. The missing ingredient. What could be missing?
So, start of the night, you have different guests coming in to check into the honeymoon suite.
Yes. A bunch of women are checking this honeymoon suite. I was like, what is going on?
So it was like first Madonna and her daughter or her stepdaughter of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah. But it was weird because she's like, it was her daughter, but she was like, well, then why are we
why are we sleeping together? And I was just like, all right.
I'm like, oh, interesting.
You have teens. I
am now intrigued.
But yeah, so it was weird. So like Madonna, her daughter, quote unquote, checks in.
Yeah.
And then another woman is like walking through the halls asking for the honeymoon suite. She was like, no, where's the suite where the love is going to be?
Yeah, where's the suite where the love making happens?
Yes.
Yes.
So it was just like,
okay, interesting.
And so now we have a total of 6 women check in to the honeymoon suite. Different, I didn't get all their names.
No, well, there's Jezebel, Athena, Elspeth, Raven,
Kira,
and Eva. And there might be one more.
No, it was only 6.
Oh, it was only 6.
It was the 5 and then Kira.
Yeah, 5 and Kira. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So they check in, and then Kira, I think, so Tim's like helping with bags, and Kira mentions something about a ritual. Like there's a back and forth between, and this is what they're confusing about Madonna and Alicia Witt, and Kira and Espeth characters as far as their relationship, because they're going back and forth talking, and Kira mentions a ritual, and like she kind of gets immediately like kind of reprimanded.
Don't tell the bellhop about the ritual.
Tim is, not Tim, it's Ted.
That's
why I kept messing that up as I was taking notes.
Yeah, Ted in the movie. The bellhop's name is Ted. So when we talk about Ted,
is Ted.
Tim.
So, you're gonna get it right.
I believe in you.
But yeah, so we get the rest of the women there, and they mention that they're performing a ritual to bring back their goddess, Diana.
Yes, who was turned into stone in this very room.
Yes, on this very night.
Yeah, on this very night in this very room. Okay.
And then they kind of admit to being like witches.
Yeah, they're part of a coven. Yeah, and they like have their ingredient list, and they send Ted out to procure all the salt, raw meat, liver, rosemary, thyme. They're making a delicious soup, that kind of stuff. And then as they go along, so then they start the ritual.
Yes. Right? So each one of them has an ingredient that they need to add to a cauldron that's in the middle of the room. Yeah. Each one of them has been assigned an ingredient.
Sweat from 5 men's thighs, tears from a year, blood of a virgin. I'm blanking on another one.
Yeah.
And then
at least you had it. I was just like stuff,
lots of stuff. And it's like, also like, don't forget the gratuitous nudity out of nowhere.
It was really weird, but it was like also. So I was a little upset about it, but I was just like, no, a woman directed this, so it wasn't like a man forced.
Yeah, exactly. Because all of a sudden, like you go and like there's one. She's meant to be
Ava, and then the
other woman. Yes, and they're meant to kind of be more like the eye candy. Like they're the blonde, like younger, and like they're like, well, the ritual's starting. Let's take off our tops. And I was like,
because it was like only 2 of them did it. So I was just like, so that's a choice. Like,
that's a choice. Yeah, exactly.
It's not a requirement.
Not all 5. Only 2 of the 5 did it. So I was very much like, but why though? I mean, okay, but why though?
So then it comes to Ava's turn, or Eva.
Yes, Eva. Yeah, either or.
And she says, so she was
I busted out laughing with this.
Can't even say it out loud. So she was supposed to procure semen.
Yes.
And she goes on this story about how like she was procuring it.
She was getting it.
And then she accidentally swallowed.
but I got too hot and swallowed, because everything rhymes going up to this, and then it rhymes. Like, but then I got too hot and swallowed it. And I'm like,
and And I was like, all righty
Yeah,
then.
there you go. That's
So,
this movie.
comedy aside,
Mhm.
that we're missing one ingredient. This
Yes.
is the missing ingredient, which is the semen.
The semen.
So,
Where could they get semen from? Just where could they get it?
So Tim arrives with, I guess, something or whatever.
With the other sort of like the river,
the salt,
all the other random stuff they need.
So he arrives. So they decide either like you need to procure the semen from the bell.
You have 1 hour to procure semen. Yeah. And then who knocks on the door? Ted. So then he comes in, and then
So it was funny. So like I can't remember which one. I think maybe Athena.
yes,
But she says she paid him $50 to make Eva smile.
yes,
So he goes over to her because she's like obviously upset because she's failed the coven.
he has no idea why.
Yeah. So and her shirt is off for whatever reason.
Yep.
So he goes over immediately and he takes off his coat
As a gentleman does.
and gives it to her so she can cover up. And then he goes up. Once again, this is the playfulness of Tim Roth's character. This is what I was like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
He tries to make her smile, so he's like pretending to be like a monkey.
Yeah,
or
he's
a
making
clown
monkey
of some
noises,
sort.
horse noises, whinnying, and he's like,
And she's like, they don't give a fuck if you make me not sad.
yeah.
I'm supposed to get semen.
I'm supposed to get semen from you, and she explains everything that happened here.
So she walks up, talks about the goddess and what happened to her. Apparently, like she was tricked on her wedding night or something.
Something happened for sure.
And turned to stone as a virgin.
Plot happened, right, with this story.
So eventually, Ted does the deed.
Does the
She
deed.
gets the
Does it quite well. It does it quite well. Because, again, he's such an awkward dude. He's stuttering. He's stumbling on everything.
But I think that's what you were saying. It was early in the film. So I don't know if they shot these in order.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was very much to see his progression as a character.
Yeah. And that's
or Tim Roth settling into this character. Because he was very, like I said, it was very much like fucking Ernest.
Yeah.
Or like the Pink Panther or some shit like that. He was just a bumbling idiot.
Yeah. But he lays it.
Language. so Ted has sex with Ava. She gets a
coitus, sir. Please, this is a family show. This is a family show.
So they do the deed. She gets the ingredient that she needs. He leaves.
Yeah.
She also gives him her number.
Yeah, she said, "Call me." Yeah, so they were very. Considering she also like hypnotized him for this action.
That was true.
Yeah,
she tells him that they need to have sex, and she's like, oh, "I can't do that."
Yeah, he's like, "No,"
because that was his one rule from Sam.
Sam from Bellhop said, "Keep your dick in your pants."
And then so she kind of puts him in a trance, and they do the deed. She gets what she needs. The women come back in. They finish the ritual, and Diana,
that's it. And then,
the stone that was keeping their goddess trapped cracks, and Diana emerges from the cauldron.
Yes, and it literally
that's it.
End of that, and we don't see anything else.
So what we've learned is one, Tim's out here laying it,
yeah,
and then two, witches exist and magic is real.
Magic is real, exactly.
And what's happening in the realm of this movie.
And with proper preparation and planning, anything is possible.
So then, right before we get the next title card, Tim is back downstairs in the lobby, and he gets a call from a party going on, and these drunk guys are saying they need ice, and they can't figure out what room they're in. So they say 404, but I thought we were on the 5th floor. So they're in 409. So they settle on 404.
Yep.
And that is the title card for the next short.
Yeah, short. Let's call them shorts. Yeah, shorts. It's vignette, but anyway, shorts.
Yeah. So the next short, the title card comes up is Room 404, and this one is titled The Wrong Man.
Yep.
So Tim brings the ice to Room 404.
Yep.
And
wrong room.
The wrong room, yes. As we'll find out later.
Yeah.
But so he brings it in, he opens the door, and the room is all
pitch black.
Pitch black.
Yeah.
And when the lights turned on, there's a guy named Siegfried.
Yep, Siegfried. Yep.
Who is pointing a gun at him. And he has a woman tied up to a chair with a gag in her mouth.
Her name is Angela.
And her name is Angela, his wife.
Yes.
And he immediately tells, Ted, accuses Ted of sleeping with his wife.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he keeps calling him Theodore. His name is Ted. So it was like, oh, it's just a mix up. That's not my name. That's not my name. I've never seen this woman. And this is back and forth. And it was like really interesting because the guy, David Provell, who plays Siegfried, I know him. I know him from so many things.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing actor. So it's just like, he's like drunk. He's taking pills. Like,
Yeah.
so he's obviously like kind of out of his
He's
mind.
super neurotic and paranoid. It seems like it's weird. There's some weird energy in this room. The vibes are off.
But so like, what was interesting? So like, he has, like I said, he's pointing a gun at Ted.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes into another room, or no, he answered the phone or something like that.
He answers the phone at one point. He goes to the bath. He answers the phone at one point. No, I think it's the bathroom first.
So he goes into the bathroom and he leaves Ted with the gun.
Yeah.
And the wife is like, do something.
Do something. What are you doing?
He's looking at him like, do something. And he's just like, once again, this bumbling idiot again.
Mm-hmm.
It's early in the film. So still this bumbling idiot. The husband comes back and he gives him the gun.
He just hands it back and he's like,
just like,
okay.
Theodore Middleton.
Like Siegfried gave him the chance. Like he was just like, hey, you don't have to, like, you could stop all of this, basically.
So like he forces him to apologize for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
apologize for saying
that his wife didn't sleep with the man or something like that.
My big note for this one was what the fuck. I'm trying to follow along. I'm like, it's just, there's so much chaotic stuff going on right now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so it's very weird. Siegfried leaves again, goes into the bathroom again.
Yeah. And
then this is when Ted ungags, so I think she spit the rope out of her mouth. So he takes the gag out of her mouth, and they talk or whatever.
Yeah,
and she's like, "You got to do something. Like, what are you doing?" And he's just, "I won't. I refuse."
Yeah,
Ted, what do you?
Well, she tells him it's a game now too, right? She's like, "This is a game we play."
I think she did say something about just play along. Yeah, and you'll be fine.
Like, well, I think she said, "This is a game we like to play."
Oh, okay. See, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
I heard it more along the lines. It was just like she's not really in fear of her life.
Yeah,
she But because her husband's going through something, so if you just let him play it out.
Yeah. But then it also said, like, this is a game we like to play. So I think that's what it was confusing. It was,
okay. I think that's okay. Because I didn't hear that part. Obviously, later, you do see that she's kind of in on it.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear that part up into that point.
Yeah, they're role playing. Apparently, they're role playing, but it's very serious. And other stuff's still happening.
So, like,
Ted has no idea.
Yeah, so, like, she tells him just play the game. So, like, he puts the gag back in her mouth. And, like, the position that he's in on her.
Yes.
Siegfried comes in and was just like, I was just starting to trust you, because he was like, I think he told him no. So Ted escapes to the bathroom, tries to get out of the window, and this was a very cool.
No, that was after he has a heart attack.
Oh yeah. So it's he comes back in after seeing them in a very suggestive position, and he has like was it a heart attack or just like?
Well, so he like clutched his heart and then said, "Give me my nitro
I know he just
pills."
collapses.
Yeah, I think he was saying he was having a heart attack or something. And like,
so
Siegfried
comes back in the room after seeing Ted with his wife. He collapses and tells Ted to go in the bathroom to get his.
Well, there was nibbling on the ear. So as you said, with the position he comes in, Ted is leaning over over Angela, the wife, who's still bound, and he's like, "Now nibble on her ear," and then like this whole thing, and then Ted, and they keep calling Ted Theodore because that's what they think his name is, and this also confused me because I'm like. Because he says, "How do you know my name is Theodore? No one calls me Theodore." And this,
well, that was afterwards.
Like, that was before. Then he kisses him. He has this whole long rant about, "I am Ted, not Theodore." He kisses him, I thought, and then he has a heart attack.
Okay.
And then he goes, so then the guy has the heart attack. You're right. And then while he's looking for the nitro pills, he like runs into the bathroom, is looking around, sticks his head out the window, and starts calling for help. Yeah. Not good under pressure, this guy, right? At least right now. He gets better under pressure.
I will say it was a very cool scene. It was very Wes Anderson-esque.
Yeah.
Where so it was like, so Ted's body is out of the window, and you see this shot where you see him, it's like the screen, you see him outside of the window and inside the bathroom. Yeah. And it was a very, very well shot.
Yeah, from like the set, like that wall dividing it. Yeah.
And so like, a guy is also sticking his head out of the window from the floor above.
The one who called him press.
Yes. And it was like, so so he Ted turns around and was like, "Can you get help or whatever?" And the guy was like, "Ice!" And he throws up. And it was like, I knew it was coming. I knew it. So I don't like seeing vomit on the screen. But so that was that was the party that it called for the ice.
Yes, that was the part of the call. So then he runs back in the bathroom, and he helps Angela up because she was tipped over, gets the gag out of her mouth, and she's like, "Where are the pills? Where are the pills?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know. I couldn't find them." He's like, "Untie me. I'll find them." And then
Siegfried just was all of a sudden like fucking Michael Myers. Yeah, has suddenly recovered, and he's like. He's like standing behind Ted. So then this is when it gets once again weird again. So now Angela is bragging about how Ted,
Mhm.
how she's had sex with Ted, and he has
Yeah.
such a great, dick and all.
Yeah, well, because like Siegfried, he faked the heart attack to
Yeah.
see if Angela liked him. So when he felt the care in her voice, that's when he woke up or he
Mhm.
stopped having the heart attack. But then Angela gets upset, and then, as you said, starts telling Siegfried, "Well, Ted and I have fucked, and he has the biggest cock in the world." And then Siegfried's like devastated by
Yeah.
all of this, and I'm like,
What is going on?
What is going on?
So then Ted has had enough.
Yep.
He escapes the room,
Mhm.
and as he's leaving,
Yeah.
another guy was like, "Yo, buddy, you know where 404 is?"
It's the one from the party upstairs asking for the ice. He like stumbles
No,
down.
no. So what it was
Mhm.
the guy that was supposed to.
Yes, yeah. But they
So
met him
he-
at the party
yeah.
upstairs. So
Mhm.
it was another one of the party goers
Yeah.
upstairs whose name was Theodore.
Yeah.
Stumbles down, and you said, "Hey,
Yeah,
you know
so
what
it was,
404
and also
is?"
I noticed 404 did not have all of the numbers on it.
Yes.
It said 40,
Yeah,
or whatever. So now the guy is asking for his room, and Ted is like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. So Theodore now goes into 404, and you get the recreation. You hear, so you don't
Yes.
see it, but you hear outside the door. It was like, I think what's his name, Siegfried cocking the gun,
Yep.
and it was like not to talk about how late you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like your timing is horrible, whatever,
Yeah.
and then they start reenacting.
It's the same
The
exact
same
thing,
scene.
and I'm like, okay, so
So-
it is a game they play.
So I think once again, piecing. That's why I love doing this. Live was piecing it together. So they met at the party on the 5th floor.
Yes,
Told Ted to meet them in
told
their room.
Theodore to meet
to
them.
meet them in their room.
Yes,
And then the confusion was Ted,
The
bringing the
bellhop.
ice,
Yeah.
went to the wrong room.
because I think Siegfried had no idea who the guy was.
Yes.
Angela knew who the guy was supposed to be, but
Mhm.
Angela didn't
Just
care.
played along.
Angela just played along. She was totally fine. But yeah, and then they just recreate the same exact thing that happened with Ted with the actual guy Theodore. But Theodore probably had sex with both of them. So and they kept it moving. And that was number 2.
That was the wrong man.
Yes. Yeah,
And
the wrong man.
404. Jesus Christ. So then, oh my God. Halfway there, we're good.
Yeah.
So the next title card pops up, and it's from room 309,
Mhm.
and it is called The Misbehavior.
The Misbehaviors.
Behaviors.
I think it's misbehaviors, right?
Misbehaviors.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm horrible at spelling.
Oh, gotcha. Sounds like you said it right.
So Ted gets a call from 309,
Mhm.
and it was also interesting seeing the switchboard.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
that was
old
cool as
90s. I guess because this hotel had been out forever. So
Yeah.
whenever a room calls the bellhop on the desk, he actually has the switchboard, and I'm like,
He has to plug it in to talk to them.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But yeah, so the guy, it's just husband and wife.
Yep.
We didn't
Yes.
we got the kids' names, but not the
Antonio Banderas.
yes,
And-
looking suave as ever.
yeah, as he does. Yeah, as he does. And he has
But
a
yes.
passion.
So he orders a bottle of champagne to his room, and after he orders it, you see he and his family in
Mhm.
the bathroom getting ready for a party.
Yeah.
And so there's his wife and 2 kids, and so he's combing his son's hair. His
Mhm.
wife is combing the daughter's hair, and
There's some strife in this marriage right now, it seems.
a little
like.
bit,
Yeah.
but not so much.
Yeah.
It was a bit, but not too much.
Yeah, there's strife as they're combing the hair and figuring out. Then he's like, "You have your mother's hair. I can't do anything with this." And they send the kids out, and then they have this. I like this.
He was like, "Are we gonna have fun tonight?" He was
Yeah.
like, he just blows a cigarette into
into
her
her
face,
face,
and then he just changes his mind, and they get it was this relationship was weird.
Odd.
So they're getting ready. The kids are sitting in front of the TV,
Mhm.
and then the parents are talking and saying once again, he was like, "Do you want to have fun tonight?"
Mhm.
And he was like, "Well, if we leave the kids, we will be able to have fun."
Yeah,
And so she was like, "Leave them here." He was like, "Yeah, they have the TV.
they have TV. They're fine." Yeah.
So they tell the kids, you're gonna stay here.
Mhm.
Don't do not
Yeah. Don't
behave.
behave. Don't
Just
misbehave.
behave.
Yeah, behave.
So the kids are sitting in front of the TV, and the parents leave, and they just wait outside the door.
Mhm.
And then the son gets up to do. I think he goes to open the window. Or
Yeah, he
something
opens
that.
the window. He's like, "It stinks in here. I'm gonna escape."
Yeah. So this is interesting. So this third one was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Mhm.
And it was interesting because of with as much feet stuff was in it. I was like, "Oh, this is Tarantino."
Yeah, no, there was a lot of feet stuff in this. I thought it was
super
I
weird.
was a little
So it's
uncomfortable.
immediately as the parents left, I think the son took off his shoes and his
Mhm.
socks.
Yeah.
And his sister's like, "Jesus, your
Well,
feet
well,
stink."
before that, so the parents go out for a second.
Yeah.
He sticks his head out the window. I
Mhm.
want to escape, and then Antonio Banderas, the dad, comes. He's like, "I told you not to behave, not to
That's funny as
misbehave." That was funny. So then Ted comes with the champagne they ordered. Finally,
Yeah.
it's too late, so now they can't drink it.
Mhm.
But now he cuts Ted a deal. He
Yeah,
says,
he's like-
"Hey."
He was like, "You want to make $500?" And
Yeah.
yes, How about 300?
Yeah, and he's like, sure, okay. But then, Ted stands up for himself. So then he offers him 500, changes to 300 to watch the kids every 30 minutes pop in on him.
Mm-hmm.
But then instead, Ted's like, I'll do it for 5. And this is back and forth. But Ted stands his ground. So he does, as you said, character progression / he doesn't care about this job as much anymore. He's like, look, man, this has been a crazy freaking night. I don't care as much. I want my money. And then 500, deal. And then the parents head out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kids have weird feet stuff.
Yeah, so the son takes it. I can't remember. I think it was Juan something.
No, we're son and daughter. Yeah.
It was Juan and Sarah. I know the daughter's name was Sarah.
Yes.
But so Juan takes his shoes off and his socks. And the sister's like, Jesus, your feet stick. Like, what are you doing? He's like, that's not me. That's not me. And so the daughter, being bold, I think she calls down to Ted and says, so the son starts playing with the champagne.
Oh, yeah, there's champagne.
And then he also changes the channel to an adult. Mm-hmm. And the sister's like, oh, no, turn that off. Yeah. So she calls down, and he said, as she's calling, he's like, ask for a bottle opener.
Yeah.
And she's like, she calls Ted, and she's like, turn off the adult channel because I don't want my brother watching it. And Ted's like, it's not on. Like, I'm looking at the room, it's not there. He was like, well, I'm looking at it, buddy.
Yeah.
So she asked for a toothbrush, and then I think. Then she calls another room.
Yeah, so then she calls another room.
So she asks her brother for a random number, and he says 40. I thought he said 409.
I don't know. Yeah, this is like,
but because it was like I thought that I was. And then this is like this the intersection between the different stories.
Yes.
So she calls a room on the 4th floor.
Yeah, which is
and it's Siegfried's, and I think. This couldn't have been the same time because it was like...
It was because this happened when... so there was a time, I think, instead of Siegfried going to the bathroom, I think the first time...
He did answer the phone.
He answered the phone.
And it was that...
And it was that interaction where it's like, well, I have a big gun, kid. We don't have needles.
We don't have needles, because she was like, they find a needle in the room.
Yeah.
And she's like, does your room have needles? Because ours does. Like.
Yeah. And this is after they've called Ted a few times. He's come up once or twice, and then
and he's just like, "Leave me alone! Like, what are you doing?" And his sister's like really being an asshole, being like really on it. And it's like I said, since it's Rodriguez, it's early Spy Kids. That's what I realized. It's Sharp Boy, Lava Girl, Spy Kids. So they're pestering Ted. He's like, "Leave me alone. If you leave me alone, I'll bring you milk and cookies." And so now the sister takes her shoes off too, and it's once again weird.
That was a weird scene, man. Yeah. That was a weird scene. So what happens is the brother's like, "Ew, your feet stink."
Yeah. So obviously there's a smell in the room.
There's a smell in the room of some sort.
And they assume it sparked or whatever when they took their shoes off.
They took the shoes off. So, but there was that weird. I mean, I want to say it. So the sister sticks her foot out towards her brother and then does this thing, and I'm like, that's uncomfortable.
And I'm like, that's uncomfortable. Was that from Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, right. I'm like, I've seen that in movies where that's like an adult woman.
Actually, was it in Dust Till Dawn?
I don't remember what it was,
because there was a weird feet thing from Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, man. So, but then they saved it at the end because it was funny because then she kicks her brother in the face. So I'm like, okay, that happened. Thank God. I was like, thank God. He saved it a little bit there.
So, so Ted comes back up and he's like, now it's time for y'all to go to bed because the parents did say we want them in bed before midnight. And so he brings them up milk and cookies. Well, he brings them up milk and saltines.
Saltine crackers. It's just as good as cookies.
And then he puts them in bed. He's like, go to the bathroom now, so you don't get up. And then they ask about the pajamas. He's like, nope, you're good. You're good. Go to
sleep. Yeah, go to sleep now.
And he tells them a story about how when he was a kid, his babysitter used to put Vicks Vapor Rub on his eyes,
which is so messed up.
Yeah,
it's so wrong.
Chinese torture is this.
Because if they open their eyes will burn. Yeah.
And it was I think what I did appreciate about that scene, it was just like kids are so gullible that I was like, oh god,
and they keep their eyes
they literally kept their eyes closed.
Yeah.
So he leaves them, and the sister being. Oh no! So fireworks go off.
I think they do fall asleep at first, and then fireworks go off. So she wakes up with the fireworks.
She wakes up and she goes to the bathroom and washes the vapor rub off her eyes, and then she turns the TV on and gets some wine or something like that.
Yeah, gets some wine too. There's another bottle of wine.
And she, being once again, this is the subtle things like being siblings. Instead of walking around the bed, go on her side, to climb into bed, she literally climbs over her brother like an asshole.
Yeah, just bum, 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 bum.
So he wakes up because he hears the TV. He's like, "Are you watching TV with your eyes closed?" He's like, "No, just wipe it off, dumbass.
Yeah, wash it off." He's going to the bathroom, rinse it off. It's fine. Yeah. So that was where he gets up and he walks right into the wall. And that was on the way to the battle. That was funny. There is some good humor in this. But
so then, for whatever reason, now they're both awake, they're watching TV. She decides to, because there's still the smell.
The smell's coming from the bed. They figure out. Yeah.
And so she pulls back the mattress, and that was fucking terrifying.
I gasped.
I was not ready for it. Yeah. There is a corpse underneath the bed.
There's a dead, bloody woman underneath the bed. Like in the mattress. I'm like,
and so like they called Ted and it was like, you need to call the cops, you need to get up there. And he's like, go the fuck to sleep.
It's like, how are you, like, you have ointment on your eyes, like, you can't see anything. And she's like, I rinsed it off. You never thought to do that? He was like, oh, no, I didn't. Maybe outsmarted by an 8-year-old there, Ted.
So then Ted goes upstairs, sees the woman, and he keeps calling her a whore.
Yeah. Which she could have been.
Could have been, but you don't know.
It's the 90s.
And so, like, Sarah's getting upset by him calling her a whore. So, like, she stabs her with the needle that they found. Now the needle makes sense.
Now the needle makes sense. She
possible
probably
overdose.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're spilling like the liquor all over the place, and the whole during the whole short, the son kept going for his father's cigarette.
Yes.
So like as his father was like combing his hair, he placed his cigarette that he was smoking on the sink, and the son starts like smoking it
right in front of the dad. Yeah.
And then like so the rest of the night he keeps getting cigarettes and trying to like so he finally lights and he drops it, and now the whole fucking room is on fire.
You have Ted with the needle in his leg. Hand on like the dead woman's heel or like ankle, like yanking out.
Room on fire, fucking the adult film on the TV.
Yeah, the adult film on TV.
And then, like, as this is happening, so Ted,
Antonio Banderas are coming back.
Yeah, so now the parents, and he's like carrying his wife because she apparently enjoyed the fuck out of her night.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's carrying his wife through the hotel, and he opens the door to this scene where room's on fire. Ted's like holding the needle above,
holding a needle where it looks like it's about to come down on the boy. The daughter has the wine bottle in her hand. Looks like she's about to like bring it down on Ted's head.
And he's holding the dead, the dead woman in the bed. And the Antonio Banderas just goes, "Did they misbehave?
Did they misbehave?"
And then the sprinklers go.
Yeah, and the sprinklers and scene. That was funny. That was a great way to end.
Funny.
Yeah, and very much Community. That show Community when when he comes back with the pizza and like everything's on fire, and you're like.
What are their timelines? So after this, Ted goes downstairs and he's like, "I am done. This is it. I quit." So he goes to call his boss, Betty, played by Kathy Griffin.
Yep.
And so he calls a house, and Marissa Tomei picks up. Her name is Marissa. No, it is Margaret.
Yeah.
And he's like. This is another fun. It was like once again. I think these two back to back were like the comedy was there, the storytelling was great,
and Tim Roth settles. Like that's what him on the phone. When I mentioned the beginning of this, him on the phone here, he is coherent, not stuttering, not all over the place. Sounds kind of like suave, and is like calmly explaining what the heck went on.
So he's saying like, it started with him having sex with the witches.
With the witches.
And he was like, with a coven, he was like, "You put a witch in an oven?" Because Marissa told Margaret is smoking, like, it's like after the New Year. So, like, they're all playing, like, sitting in the living room playing video games.
Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
She's smoking weed, so, like, she's a little bit out of it, listening to his frantic story.
Yeah. But then also just, like, so was it like an old witch with a wart?
It was a hag?
Was it a hag with a wart? And he was like, well, no, it was a beautiful woman. You're saying that's a bad thing?
So this is so the comedic timing between the both of them. So he's
very good.
Telling her about his night. And he's like, where the hell is Betty? She lives
there. Yeah.
So Margaret gives the phone to Betty and like Ted is telling her about his night. He was like, I quit. I'm done.
Yeah.
And she's just like, at least stay the night or whatever. Because she hears the phone ring, and it's from the penthouse.
Yes.
And, like, she gives a whole
its own separate phone line.
Yeah. And that's what I was like, how do you know it's the... But so she gives a whole backstory about the hotel and how the fact that it was, like, back in the 70s or whatever it was, like, celebrities would stay there and, like, they were renowned for their penthouse.
Yes.
So they don't really care about any other guests, but the penthouse, like, they make sure that they keep them happy. So it was just like, you can leave, but, like, don't leave before, like, at least answer the phone for the penthouse.
Yeah, like run up, give them whatever they need. It's probably champagne, and then leave. That's totally fine.
And so he answers the phone. He said, so sorry for the delay. And then it cuts out to the last title screen, which is Penthouse, and it is The Man from Hollywood.
Yeah, which The Man from the South is the Roald Dahl short story written in 1948, and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. They took that to be the Man from Rio de Janeiro,
Yes.
I think.
Mhm.
Man from Rio de Janeiro in Alfred Hitchcock's Presents in the 60s. I don't remember when exactly.
And I think that's another thing, talking about how seeing flashes of this movie in current times, the same thing, seeing how, this is what I love about films, seeing how much directors and actors love movies.
Yes.
Because he references the Hitchcock stuff, in this one. So you don't hear what the penthouse wants, but you see Tim, he has a cart, he's on his way upstairs, he's at the penthouse. And before the door, before he can get to the door, two women are being kicked out.
Get out, you skanks! That's what they said in the movie. And they run out naked.
They run out naked with their clothes. So they go to the elevator, and Tim continues to the door. Yeah. And when he gets to the door, he sees Angela. From the Wrong Man.
Room 2. Yeah, from the Wrong Man. 404.
She's like, hey, Ted.
Yeah. He's like, is your husband going to be joining us? No, he'll be asleep till Christmas. That's fine. This is
weird because it's New Year.
Yeah, he's going to sleep for a long time.
It's not a time works. Okay.
He's like Mariah Carey. He only comes for like 1 month of the year.
They
resurrect from cryogenesis.
So he walks in and he gets introduced to
Chester Rush.
That's Quentin Tarantino. Who is played by Tarantino, who's a Hollywood director. He offers him a drink or whatever, and then he, once again being Tarantino, just a lot of words, just like very much your Hollywood
monologue.
So he introduces him to the rest of the people. So he introduces him to Norman and Leo, played by Bruce Willis.
We see Leo in the back on a phone back and forth. And he's like, it's Bruce Willis. Bruce. Do you see me? Hi, Bruce.
It was so funny. So as I was reading the trivia about the whole Bruce Willis thing, I didn't think he would be as prominent because I didn't understand. I didn't, like I said, I just a quick look at the trivia. I didn't. So I didn't understand the whole debacle.
He basically stars.
But it was I didn't realize he was going to be that prominent. I thought it was literally going to be like you see him in the background. It's a wave. He doesn't say anything. And that was it.
I thought it was going to be him on the phone. Like, I'm on the phone this whole time. Close the door and then keep moving.
So Chester is giving this whole monologue about his last film, what it made, and what his next film is going to be. And then just so much Hollywood, talk. And then we get a look at what they requested. So obviously a bit, more champagne. But he asked for, what was it? A block of wood, 3 nails, a ball of twine, a bucket of ice, a donut.
And Quentin, that's for me, and he just houses that whole thing.
A club sandwich, and that's for Angela. And then the last thing is a hatchet.
So I saw the wood, twine, and nails. I was like, got it. Because I didn't realize
realize the story.
You realize until afterwards, and then I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, I know this story.
And so, they said they want a hatchet so sharp for something
can cut the devil himself or something like that.
And so Norman checks the sharpness, and it's sharp. And then, what happens? So they walk through items, and then why they requested it.
They start explaining everything.
Once again, Tarantino talking. So basically, Norman has said that he can, and it's also once seen because American Dad did this. Where he was like, I can start this more 10 times in a row, or you can cut off my leg. So I love once again.
Roald Dahl's a genius. Just throwing that out there. Crazy stuff. I know there was some other stuff that came out with them, but from a pure literary standpoint, phenomenal. So
Norman has challenged that if he can start his Zippo lighter 10 times in a row, he gets Chester's car. Because Norman drives this Honda shit or whatever, but he was like, he wants Chester's car.
Chester it's featured on magazines. People are like, this Chester Rush is known for his directing and his car. It's like, from all the monologue, that's what we get.
And so Angela's like, they've been talking about it all night. You might as well do it.
So to make sure everyone understands, the bet is lights the lighter 10 times. So it's like that old not Bic lighter,
it's like
Zippo. The old Zippo lighter where it's like they don't always light every time. So you actually have to spin the wheel and press it down to actually light it. So if he can do that 10 times, he gets the car. If not, they cut off Norman's finger. And
so Ted's like, cool, I'm out.
Ted's like, cool, thank you, great.
Mess up the room. I don't give a shit.
He's like, do whatever you want, but I am not here for this.
So he goes to leave, but Chester stops. So he says,
money.
He's like, we need you to be the one. If Norman gets jumpy, we need you to be the one to cut his finger off. And so Ted's like, no, I'm not doing it. So they, like you said, Chester offers him $100 just to sit and listen to their.
This was a great scene.
Yeah.
This part was phenomenal.
And that's what I'm saying. This very reminded me of Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, yes.
Like kind of that scene.
Yeah. Like the lead up.
Also, what I will say about this one, it was like, I think it might have been one shot. This whole
see the camera
because it kept leaning in and out, but it was just like there was no real cuts.
Clearly the dude, like you could see the camera actually go and walk and turn.
Yeah, even like there was one point where it was like as Chester's monologue about his moves and stuff like that, it goes and looks at Jennifer Beal and she's just like, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
but yeah, so he says we'll offer you $100 just to listen to us, or whatever. So they give them the whole background. And he's saying like, so this is what you could make.
And every time $100. He's like, this is the pile you have right now. This is the pile you could have. So 60 seconds, Bruce Willis starts the timer.
Yeah, so it's just listen to it for 60 seconds, you can make $100.
Yeah.
But if you do it, you can make $1,000.
Yes. After.
So it's just like, and that's what you're saying. It was so funny. It was like this whole monologue about like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we want to do. This is why we want to do it. So much talking. And then finally you get to the moment where we're just like, all right, let's go on with the Zippo.
Yeah, because once it's 1,000, Ted is like, "Yep, all right, I'm in." And then again, Tim Roth really settled. Like in this, he's settled into the role now. He has like a good smile. He's like, "I got you. I'll do it for 1,000."
So Norman goes to place Norman's hand on the block of wood,
cutting board. Yep, out,
pinky out, and he goes to light the Zippo. First one fails. Ted immediately cuts it. No fucking hesitation. It was like, that's what was amazing. Because it was like, once again, so much hype to it.
You think it's going to be like, they're going to build, it's going to happen.
I thought maybe he'll get like 9 into that 10th one. Nope. First one fucks it up. Immediately loses his pinky.
Grabs all the money.
Ted collects the money. He collects the 100, collects the 900.
He walks out
dancing. And it was like, and then I said, you get the credits. And so as the credits are rolling, you see the chaos that is in the room. We're like,
Norman, Chester, and Leo. So
they're trying to like get his finger, like so they can get him to
put it on the ice. Put it on the ice. Like you hear it off screen, like you just see the elevator that Ted just walked through dancing, and then it closes, and then like Norm, the guy with his pinky cut off, like stumbles into the wall, and then you're like, put it on ice. Oh God, call the doctor! Call the doctor!
And it ended like so. Yeah, like I said, the final two made the movie.
Yes, for sure. It was a great end. And it was a very good end for that. It really makes up for a lot of what happened beforehand.
So that's
and that is 4 rooms. As always, at the end, we like to think, hey, would you like to change anything with your rating, Mike?
I will change. I'll give it 2.5. Wow. And I think after talking through, because I don't like seeing Tarantino's face.
Yeah.
It always looked like somebody farted in his face and then they took a picture. Like at that moment.
Let it be known, this is one half of the Meddling Kids.
He does not speak.
He does not speak for everyone.
I can't stand Tarantino's face, but as a director and as a visionary, I do. And so and also the way that he was able to pull this all together, it was really done well. So I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah.
I'll bump it up a half for the fourth. For the fourth short.
I'm sticking with 2 out of 5. Just because the end was good doesn't mean the beginning, middle, and lead up was good. I'm keeping the 2 out of 5. Again, it's entertaining. Solely from, though I will say, I'll change one thing, is if you're going to watch this movie, and us talking about how like Ted, the bellhop, has changed as the movie progressed, you kind of want to see that change. So actually, so don't even watch it just for the end 2 sequences. Start from the beginning, watch everything. It's also, you get to see
because it was like, I think that makes sense though, right? It's his first night. But after going through the first, I guess after having a gun put to your face,
right? You're just like,
all right, we're good.
Yeah, I'll chop a man's pinky off for $1,000. Yeah, that's easy.
And I think that's what's interesting, going from the hostage situation in 404 to like Rugrats.
Because it happens at the same
time. Like Looney Tunes.
Those happened at the same time. He would literally, like, in between, he was told to look at the kids, and in between being told to look at the kids, that's when he went to 404. And so to come back with the kids, he's like freaking out. So, but yeah, entertaining movie. We'll put it at that. But again, thank you so much for listening. We are the Meddling Kids. This was Ramblings from 2 Meddling Kids. If you'd like to reach out to us, you have any movie suggestions or want to leave a nice comment, you can find us on @2meddlingkids for Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. We'd love to see you there. We have shorts coming out every Tuesday and Thursday of Guess That Movie, a little trivia, which has gotten a fair amount of traction, which is a lot of fun. We should be dropping something else soon too. Mike, how can they reach out to you?
On Instagram @DaysFromLegendary.
Perfect. And if you'd like to reach out to me, I'm at EdHunt77 on Twitter and Instagram. Oh, also, my apologies. Our Gmail is twomeddlingkids@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Again, comic is coming. What I'm going to start doing is showing little panels, and would love to honestly hear what everyone thinks about it. But thank you so much for listening. We will see you soon, and I hope you had a great start to your new year. Guys, everybody.